Hello, my name is Jeremiah. I'm going to be making some videos playing around with Lisp, primarily Common Lisp. I am by no means an expert on Common Lisp, so don't take what I do as necessarily great programming practices. I've done a couple of projects a few years ago in Common Lisp and then kind of set the language aside, hoping to pick it back up. Right now I'm going to be playing around with McCLIM. CLIM is the Common Lisp Interface Manager. I have a confession to make. I've never been a huge fan of GUI programming. CLIM promises to be different, and we'll see as I go along in the next few videos how different it is, and hopefully I'll pick some of it up as we go along. I do not know very much about CLIM. Here I'll be pretty much doing my first efforts at learning the interface or the toolkit, and let's just get started and see how it goes. I'm going to load up a quick project to make a new project, and I'm going to type in something very similar to what you can find in the McCLIM user guide, the draft version that's available on their website. Let's see. Let's call it put it in our local projects directory and call it McCLIM. And we want to use McCLIM and what else? McCLIM, or we want to use CLIM and CLIM Lisp. Let me stick that on there. At least according to the second actually sample example in the McCLIM user guide. And I did not put a slash at the end of McCLIM, but it looks like Quick Lisp did that for me. And let's see what we have here. Let's add CLIM and CLIM Lisp to this. And let's export a function so that we can use it from the REPL without moving into the package. me load McCLIM up here. And let's take the new. And let's go back here. All right. Super app is the name given in the example code here. An application frame is generally, I guess, going to be your primary window. This is going to put a little blurb at the bottom of the window that'll give the user hints on what they can do, and your panes are going to be the portions of your window. We're going to have one called app, and that's going to be our application pane, where we're going to display our output. Let's give it a height and a width, and we'll probably change that as we go along just to experiment a little bit. The interactor is going to be a pane on the window into which the user can type in commands, and a lot of this functionality McCLIM is going to give us basically for free. And let's lay it out. Our default layout is going to be vertically oriented with our app pane, our application pane, and their interactor pane. And I think that's all we need for define application pane. Define application frame. Let's do our entry procedure, our main procedure. We're going to run the make and run the frame we just laid out above, and we called it McHello app. And that should be it for our main procedure. Now, let's give it a couple of commands. Define McHello app command. And this define McHello app command is a macro that was created for us by define application frame when we made this, define this McHello app frame. The define application frame macro created a nice handy macro for us called define McHello app command, which lets us create some commands. We'll do one that's called quit, name T. We have to put this option here if we want the user to be able to type in the command with the keyboard. At least that's how I understand it. And this is going to, here we can define some, or declare some parameters that go to our command when it's run, when it's called. We're not going to declare any right now because all we want to do with this one is quit. Okay, we'll do another command that is given to us in the example code in the McCLIM user guide. This one will have some parameters, some arguments. See, we want, we're going to call it parity. It's going to tell us if a number given as an argument is even or odd, thus the name parity. And then name T, so we can call it from the keyboard, from typing in the name of the command. And we're going to give it the argument number, which is going to be an integer. Double parentheses because the outer parenthesis specifies a list of arguments, and then each argument we're going to be giving a name and then the type. And here, as you'll see momentarily, you can use your regular output commands to output right to your application pane. As simple as that. Your first argument is number here to the format. After the string is going to be the number. Number is, and then we want either odd or even, depending on whether the number is odd or even. Okay, that's going to be all for now. And if I didn't make any typos in basically copying this out of the user guide, we should be able to compile and run the file. Okay, no warnings, that's a good sign. And let's see if we can load our app. Okay, I'm going to use a symbol anyways. I kind of thought we externed it, but oh well. I'm a Lisp newbie, as I said, or kind of a newbie, so I'm going to be making these obvious screw-ups now and then. Alright, so we should have, so here we have our application frame up top. And this is our interactor. We can type in a command and it gives us a hint that, okay, for parity we want to enter a number 3, and press enter and it sends our command to our application and responds right there. 3 is odd. That's just our format string, our string that we sent to format. But notice down here we have our pointer documentation, which says, hey, if you right click you can get a list, basically a context menu that gives you the different commands you can do. Describe, you can ask it to describe an object in Lisp, and it will tell you, okay, app main is a symbol, Common Lisp user package. Okay, but we want app main. Let's see. We want app main from McCLIM. App main is a symbol in the McCLIM package, which has a function definition of McCLIM app main, which has the argument list. Well, it doesn't have any arguments, and a property list of nil. Okay, so we get we can interact somewhat with our Lisp system here. Help, and I can't find any help keywords except for keyboard, which just tells you input editor commands are like Emacs. I don't know if McCLIM expects us to fill out this help command on our own in our code with the with program specific information. So describe and help, these are built-in ones, and parity and quit, here we have our own McCLIM app commands that we defined. 6 is even, and quit will quit the application. Here, if we don't like the layout, we can change it. Say I want 2 panes, left and right. I've got a wide screen. I don't need a tall app. I can have a wide app. It would make more sense, right? So let's make these the same height since they're going to be side by side. 600 by 400. But 600 is going to be, by 600 is going to be 1200 by 400. Let me cut the width down just a little bit. And let's recompile this block of code. We shouldn't need to recompile everything because this is Lisp. We get the benefit of incremental compilation. You know what? That's right, I didn't export looks like, yeah, I did. I wonder why. Let me double check. How I should be exporting these symbols. Does that look better to you? Looks like it might be better to me. Well, no errors that time. That's what I like to see, no warnings. Now we have our application with two panes side by side. Works just the same as before, just we have a layout that's more friendly to our wide screen. Let's say I'm getting bored with this parity command. And I think I want my app to do something more. Actually, before I finish this, just as an example, let's say we want it to have a command called say, which repeats what we tell it to say, kind of like a print command or format command. And just so you can see here, we don't have that command right now. It gives our app gives us an error message when we try and invoke it. We're going to call our command say, just as in the example here, and what to say is going to be a string. And all our commands going to do is there I go, putting extra parentheses in. Just print out whatever we told it to say. Let's see if I did this right. We should be able to compile the command. Notice that I haven't closed the app at all. This is Lisp, so we should be able to compile and have it. Notice it gives us our hint there. Have that command here. Hello world. Okay, so this is kind of fun. We can experiment as we go. And quit to close out our little application here. Now, one thing I want to try out, and I tried out a little bit, a couple of the example apps with McCLIM, and I'm going to be going through them a little more closely in the coming days as part of trying to learn how to use McCLIM. The documentation is kind of terse, and there's not a lot of tutorials out there that I could find. So I'm going to have to do something similar to what I did when I was learning programming. Try things out, see what works, what doesn't, by experience as I'm trying to do here, and by looking at existing code. So McCLIM comes with that's not where it is. McCLIM comes with a bunch of examples. Here we go. One I was looking at a little earlier is called Tab Demo. You can see I was looking at it earlier. There's some autosave data that I never saved in it. This shows a set of tabbed, or a pane with a set of tabs, kind of like you'd see in Firefox, where you click on each tab and there's different content. Here we see there's the application frame defined. There's a special presentation type, which my understanding is you can have presentation types to control how McCLIM shows displays different types of Lisp objects. And I'm not certain I'm ready to dive into that yet. I don't really know how to work that, but I'm going to be playing around and see if I can figure it out. But right now I'm more interested in how to get these built-in gadgets, I think they're called in McCLIM, basically are widgets, to work. Here we have our application frame, as I was mentioning. It's going to have a menu bar. So that's something different. That's not something we saw in the little Hello World type app that I was doing. And panes. We're going to have, there's several panes defined here. A, B, C, special page. Then our interactor and our pointer documentation. But our layouts are where it gets interesting. Okay, our default layout is going to be vertically with tab layout. And notice McCLIM tab layout is a namespace being used here. With tab layout. And in the tabs we have our different panes, A, B, C, and special page. And then outside of our tab layout we also have the interactor and the pointer documentation, which will be underneath our tabs if I'm reading this correctly, and I think I am, good because I saw this a few hours ago and hopefully my memory will work that long. Define tab demo command. Remember that macro is provided for us by define application frame up here. Takes the name tab demo and sandwiches between define command and gives us a macro. So there's a command for removing the tab demo page. And then make command table. This is interesting. This is going to give us our menus. Or this is going to be the content that we see in our menus. Add an extra pane, randomize, quit, change page title, paint page red, paint page green. In a different menu, we got our pages menu, properties menu, presentation, test menu, choose any page, choose special page, pages, properties, presentation, tests. It's going to be the main menu options in our menu bar. Each of these is going to have these sub items. Our entry point for the application. Tab demo layout. Which calls this Find tab demo command. Add extra pane. So we've got a command for a new pane. Choose any page. Commands that correspond also to our command tables for our menus. So let's load this up and see what it does. So I'm thinking, before we load it up, we've got menu bar listed here, defined in our application frame, tab demo menu bar. And I think McCLIM is going to be using this argument to make command table to determine what goes into the menu bar. Okay, it's going to be these three sections, and these three sections are defined above. So we want tab demo, tab demo. Oh, well, I guess I have to load the file first, right? And now we can load tab demo. Alright, so we kind of see what we expected to see. The menu bar, our tabs, hello from page A, from page B, from C, from special page. And as we click on each of them, we're actually sending commands, and our interactor tells us that this command is being sent. We do this from I know we can do randomize, or I think we can do randomize from the actual command prompt we have there. In any case, here we have our commands. Change page title, and it asks us for a new title. And here we can add another pane, and it gives us X as the name, but we can always change the title. And randomize. We'll mix up our panes. That didn't mix them up too much. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, red, green. I like green. So you choose any page. We click on something and it should say us, okay, this is the page we chose. Choose special page. Correct answer, that's the special page. Alright, so one thing I noticed earlier is that quit is grayed out in the samples here, and I just downloaded McCLIM the other day from Quick Lisp, so this may be a bug in the example in the most recent version of McCLIM, at least the version picked up by Quick Lisp. So do we have the command quit? Yes, com quit here. So why is it gray if we have that? This was what I was playing around with earlier, trying to figure out, and it looks like quit goes to quit tab demo, but our command was just quit, not command quit tab demo. So this might be the easiest bug to fix that I've ever come across. Let's recompile that command table, and look, quit is not grayed out anymore. That is kind of awesome. There we go. Maybe I'll ask around or file a bug report and see if that actually is a bug in the examples, and if that's a legitimate fix. It seems to work for me. But I guess that's all the poking around for McCLIM I'm going to do for today. Thanks for watching if you haven't gotten bored and changed to some other video yet. And I'll be back in a few days doing some more Lispy stuff. Alright, thanks for watching.